That voice in your head telling you that you're not good enough, guess what? That's not yours. It was given to you. Hello and welcome back to Torches, Yoga and Mindfulness. I'm Lauren and I'll be your coach. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you in our community. Make sure to tap that follow button so you don't miss any of our future weekly uploads. So the other day, I got a message from a dear old friend that we haven't spoken in years, but we're always there for each other, rooting each other on through the ups and downs thanks to social media. While I could say that today's topic is inspired by them, in truth, it's more the timing that I'm posting this. I feel like it's something they're not alone in struggling with. There's a lot of us that struggle with this, and it's definitely been on my list to share with you. And that is imposter syndrome. Do you ever feel like you're not good enough, like you don't belong? Or do you feel that you don't deserve that accomplishment or promotion you got, despite the evidence of your own capabilities? Imposter syndrome can develop in different ways for different people. If you grew up with high expectations, controlling caregivers, or praise only tied to accomplishments, then you may have learned that self-worth is tied only to external validations. If you ever feel like you have to prove yourself because of your background, your gender, or your profession, then your imposter syndrome could be rooted in that pressure to succeed. If you're a perfectionist, or you're the one that's always trying to make sure everyone else is happy, if you're a deep thinker, then you're probably also overly critical on yourself, leaving you vulnerable for imposter syndrome. But the good news is mindfulness can help with that. And today I have some practices for us to overcome our imposter syndrome. One mindful practice we can bring in to help overcome our imposter syndrome is labeling our thoughts. Now, if you want to get really good at recognizing these thought patterns before they spiral out, check out the full video I've got on how to labeling your thoughts. I go more in depth there. But this is a practice that over time helps to quiet the repeating and draining mental loops we can get into. But for our imposter syndrome, one of the practices we do have is labeling our thoughts to take away its power. When we notice them, we're going to acknowledge them as just a thought, and we're going to label it self-doubt. Acknowledge the thought as just that. This is imposter syndrome and not reality. When we label the thought, we take away its power and take away its emotional ties. The second practice I have for you is we're going to reframe our inner critic with real evidence. When imposter syndrome kicks in, it feels like reality. It feels like it's our truth. But the fact is, it's just a distorted belief. And we can break this thought cycle by challenging it with real evidence. So to start, we're going to do a little investigation. We're going to identify those self-doubt thoughts. Maybe your inner critic is telling you you're not good enough for your partner. Maybe it's telling you you're not a good parent. Maybe it's telling you you didn't get this accomplishment or promotion from your hard work and talent, but you just got lucky. Maybe you're a creative and your inner critic is telling you that you're not good enough to share your work with others. We can even fact check ourselves if this is an imposter thought or if it's rooted in any truth by asking ourselves, would we say this to a friend? If your answer is no, that you would choose compassion when speaking to a friend, then that tells us that this thought is in fact imposter syndrome and just self-doubt. So now that we've identified the self-doubt thought, we're going to ask ourselves, what proof do I have that I'm actually qualified, that I'm actually enough as I am? What proof do I have that I do really belong? Consider that for a moment. And with your new evidence, we're going to use that to reframe that inner critic. For example, if sometimes you feel like just everyone knows more than you, that you're lost, reframe it to everyone has strengths and weaknesses, and the fact that I'm here means I have something to contribute. Journaling out or writing out this process, the identifying, the evidence, and the reframing, journaling it out will help maximize its impact and benefits for you. And then practice number 3 I have for you today is flip it. When that voice pipes in saying you're not good enough, you don't belong here, stop and ask, what if I do belong here? What if, in fact, I am capable? And then consider what would change if you believed that. Would your actions, your motivations, or your outlook change? Just sit with this for a minute and let your mind explore the possibilities because, friend, The thoughts we feed are the thoughts that grow. This could be another great journaling prompt. What would change if I let go, if I flipped my limiting beliefs and my imposter syndrome? And then let's take it a step further. And I don't mean for ourselves, I mean for our future generations. Imposter syndrome, just like all other limiting beliefs, are not our true selves. And more often than not, they were given to us by family, by society, by toxic partners. And if we don't learn to acknowledge and address our own limiting beliefs, then we re-gift them and we carry that cycle forward. So I would like to know, if you're here with me now, you're already on the right track. Congratulations. So think about it like this. If a younger version of you were standing in front of you today saying, "I'm not good enough," would you agree with them? Maybe even pile on some other critiques? Or would you choose compassion? We don't have to hold on to that which no longer serves us, and we can choose to break the cycle. Since imposter syndrome is rooted in fear-based thought patterns, when we bring in mindfulness, we disrupt that cycle, allowing us to recognize where the belief started, to separate our feelings from reality, and to build confidence in ourselves by focusing on the present. Friends, our minds and bodies are always listening to us for cues on how to operate and how to behave. And the more we remind them that we are safe, we are worthy, we are capable, the more they will remember that and act accordingly. So before I sign off today, let's remind our brains, specifically our amygdala, that's our fear center that triggers the self-doubt thoughts. Let's remind our brains that we are capable, we are safe, we are worthy. So I want you to place one hand over your heart center and one hand on your abdomen. And we're going to take a nice, long, deep inhale through the nose, hold it for a beat, and then we're going to sigh it out through the mouth. Ready? Go. Let the shoulders relax, and let's do that again. Wonderful. So that exercise triggers and activates our vagus nerve, taking us from the fight or flight into the rest and digest. All right, friend, if you would like any guidance or support on uncovering where your imposter syndrome is rooted, please send me a message and we'll book a session. Remember, if you're not already, follow me on Instagram for your daily mindfulness reminders. Friend, thank you for sharing a piece of your day with me. Stay present, stay kind to yourself, and I'll see you soon.